Hello everybody, and welcome back to my podcast. I'm also recording this episode, so this will be going live on my YouTube if you want to watch it and see my very noob setup. But I thought I would start this podcast just by thanking you all for being here. This is the very first episode of To Be Candid, which is kind of mind-boggling. I originally had this kind of urge to start a podcast in late November. I think it was the week after Black Friday, because I was kicking myself that I didn't buy a microphone sooner. But so happy that it's finally started up. It didn't take too long to come into fruition, and it's just something that I'm really excited about. A new project to start in 2021, which is what we're going to be talking about today. I'm so excited for a new year. I always am, but I thought just to kind of break it up a little bit, we'd do a little life update to start with. So as I'm filming this, it's current. See, I already said filming. This is the YouTube brain going. It's currently the 3rd of January as I'm recording this, and I already feel so much more comfortable. I did my trailer episode yesterday and I was so nervous. I don't know what was going on. Just intimidating new equipment, new softwares and programs to set up, and I feel like I was really trying to like sell something in my trailer episode, I guess. Whereas this is just you and me having a girls chat. I'm in my bedroom. The sleepover vibes are here, which is ultimately what I want this podcast to be. So get ready for a little girls chat and a little life update. But I already feel more comfortable. I think it's just because I also have the camera on me, which has obviously been one of my best friends for a very long time now. So feeling a little bit more comfortable, just that it's me and you, and I can finally like breathe, debrief. I've got my coffee. We're here to have a good time, which I'm very excited about. But yeah, it's the 3rd of January. New Year's just happened. It was a very chill New Year's, not our typical setup. For the last 5 years, me and Christian have spent it. I call them Christian's friends, but I guess our friends. We've spent it with our friends back from Bournemouth, and we've always done something for the last 5 years. We've all been together. And if you don't know, I live in London, and we are currently in Tier 4. Hooray, happy days. Not really, but never mind. So this is the first year that we can all be together, which was really sad, but instead we did a Zoom call quiz. So we were there in spirit. We could see each other's faces even if we weren't there in person. But yeah, just a chill New Year's. It was very nice, and my goals for this year look a hell of a lot different than they did last year. I feel like last year was very, what's the word, like practical goals, or just really measurable and I guess achievable at the time. They were all things that I thought was going to be pretty easy to tick off, but you know, the virus came and that just didn't happen. But that's okay. We adjust, we evaluate, and we try again. So that's where we're at this year. I personally love setting 2020 goals or 2021 goals or just New Year goals. I think they're so much fun, and I just love any excuse to be able to evaluate or reflect on the year that's passed and just think of things that, oh, actually I could have improved on that, or actually I could have tried a bit harder at that, or actually I've completely changed my mind and I want to try something completely new. So I feel like I have a bit of everything coming up in my goals, as well as just my reflection on 2020. I guess we can touch on that a little bit now. But 2020 was confusing for me. Everyone went into 2020, I feel like, saying, this is my year, and that's how I felt, but more so like everyone thinks it's their year, but really it's my year. Like I was so, I don't know, self-centered, or just had my mind thinking about me, that 2020 was going to be my year. It was going to be the year that I moved flat, which actually did happen, but also I was graduating uni, I was going to go on a girls trip, I was going to get my first graduate job, like all of these huge things, which just, like, it was a very important year in my life. I feel like quite a landmark for me. Like graduating uni is a big deal, moving house is a big deal, all of these things. So it was really hard to wrap my head around the fact that that didn't happen. For a long time, I was convinced that I was on summer holiday, you know, because there was a February and March, what am I saying? There was a Friday in March that I went to uni, came home, and never went back to uni. I never had like a last day or a last hurrah. I still haven't had my graduation. So for ages, it just felt like I was on summer holiday. Any week now, I'll be going back to uni. And then August kind of rocked around, at which point I'd been eating into my savings, not really doing anything. I couldn't work because I was a bar manager, or definitely not a bar manager. I was a bar staff person at the O2, so that wasn't up and running. So it was just a really, really strange time, and it wasn't until August where it really hit me like, oh, hang on, my life looks a lot different than it is. And you can actually go back on my YouTube channel and watch videos of me talking about graduate life and things in, I don't know, April or May, when we were kind of in the midst of the pandemic. I was convinced like, oh, it's only going to be a couple of months and then I'll be back doing what I do. And, you know, we're nearly a year on now and I'm definitely not back doing what I do. But like I said, we've readjusted, evaluated, and I'm very happy with the position I'm in right now, which I feel very, very thankful to be able to say. But yeah, I think that's enough ramble. There's going to be a lot of that in this podcast, just preparing you now for what's to come. But let's get into my 2021 goals. Let's also have a drink of coffee, because Christian has got this new cafetiere thing and he's made me a hazelnut coffee. What a gem. Okay, so starting off with my 2021 goals, I think it's important to talk about the way I went around writing them. Usually I have a journal every year, which I do to this year. I've had it for like the last 10 years, I think, maybe even 12 years. I've had it for a really, really long time. Different journals, obviously, but the same kind of thing going on. And usually I take the first page of my New Year journal and I just bullet point all the things I want to do. I say like, I want this many subscribers, or I guess this year it would be this many listeners. I want to go on this holiday. I want to save this much money. I want to have no claims on my car. That was a big one for me. Like, I have never crashed, touch wood, but I always liked putting it down on my resolutions because I just felt like I was putting it into the universe that I wasn't going to crash, and also it was like a semi-achievable goal that I would be able to tick off at the end of the year. I'm one of those people who likes to set myself easy goals so that I can achieve them. Not achieving a goal hits my ego real hard. It's like a toxic trait I need to work on, honestly, but that's a real struggle for me. So I like achievable goals, but obviously this year, who the heck knows what achievable even means, honestly. So you'll notice a lot of my goals are a lot more internal and I guess intangible in a way, because there's no like real evidence that they've ever been achieved, but I'm kind of mentally prepared for that this year, so I feel like it's okay. So yeah, my way I went about it was actually going to Pinterest and saving a lot of photos that made me feel a certain way, or just brought to mind the things that I want to do or the things that I want to be more so, I guess. Just like ways of life or aesthetics or emotions that I wanted to concentrate more on in 2021. So I compiled all of those and I actually made like a mood board on Photoshop and kind of extracted some things from there. So the first thing I pulled from there were like 4 main themes, I guess, which really helped and then like bled into my resolutions. So my 4 main themes, or my pillars, I'm calling them. I don't know if that's a term that's coined by anyone else, but I'm calling them my pillars of the year, are to be kind, to be loving, to be fun, and to be creative. And as I'm saying it, they all sound very simple and are kind of like, shouldn't you be doing that already? And the whole point is, yes, I should. And I think I have been in very small and like, unintentional ways. But I really want to bring it to the forefront of my mind this year and the forefront of my intentions and my purpose, to be kind, to be loving, to be fun, and to be creative. And I feel like they're the things that I want out of life. Like if at the end of my life someone says, oh yeah, Amber was super loving, she was so kind, she was really fun and creative, I'm good to go. Like, I've done it. Like, I die happy, you know? So I feel like even though this isn't going to be the 4 pillars for the next 80 years of my life, or however long I have left on this earth, it's a good way to start this year off and a good way to place myself for the year ahead. So they were kind of my first 4 pillars. And then I think I made 4 or 5 resolutions, like you usually would, like aims and goals resolutions for 2021. And then I did 4 or 5 shifts in my mentality that I want to concentrate on this year. So we're about to get into it. It's about to get a little confusing, I feel like, but I know what I'm talking about, so stick with me and hopefully you'll get it too. But starting with my resolutions, my first one was to smile at strangers, or be kind to strangers, whichever way you want to word it. And I don't mean this to say that I'm an awful person and I'm really nasty to everyone I meet, because that's so not true. But in the same sense, I'm not overly kind to everyone I meet. And it's like, why aren't I that person? It doesn't cost me a thing, and it could affect that person's life in so many ways, or just that person's day in so many ways, and just make them smile even just for a second. So it's something that I want to get better at. I feel like growing up, I was okay at it as a kid. Like, I was pretty like personable with strangers and would smile, and obviously like they'd be like, oh, she's so cute, and then instantly I'm your best friend, you know, call me cute and we're good to go. But as I've grown older, oh my gosh, let's take a breath for a second. Whew. As I've grown older, I feel like I've become more guarded. I don't know if it's because I've watched more crime dramas or I've listened to more true crime and what have you, and I've just become a little fearful of strangers and their intentions, and like I feel like the thought that everyone in the world is good has been tainted for me, which I'm sure in some ways that's good, and it has protected me and it's made me a more knowledgeable or worldly person, I guess, but also it's not fun, you know, like having someone stand next to you at a bus stop and smile and not smile back. Like, I'm only losing in that situation, surely. Like, a smile isn't gonna cost anything. So I want to be that person that smiles first, that walks down the street and says good morning to the little old lady and her dog. And I know there's a virus going around, so like being the most friendly, overly friendly person in the world probably won't go down the best, but there's nothing wrong with a little wave or a good morning or anything like that. So I just really want to concentrate on that. I think it was really evident to me, this became really evident to me, like the way I treat strangers, I guess, when I went to Marrakesh with my boyfriend in, I think it was September 2019, I guess, like quite a while ago. But I had heard so many horror stories from my like personal friends who had been there about the way men talk to the women there and about things that they had experienced or seen. So I was super guarded, like next level guarded. And my boyfriend just isn't that person. He's so friendly and so easy to make friends with. He's very laid back, very open to conversation. I feel like he likes a lot of things that people like. He's interested in what other people are interested in, and he's a really big inspiration for this resolution, I feel like. But in Marrakesh, someone like a market stall owner would come up to us and talk to us, sure, about one of their products, probably trying to sell something. And whilst I was like tugging at my boyfriend's shirt, like, can we leave? Like, I don't want to talk to this person, blah, blah, blah. He'd end up having a great conversation with this person. They'd be so nice. He'd maybe like learn something he wouldn't have before, had an experience he wouldn't have before, and he gained so much from it. And although, yes, he's a male and like, I guess he doesn't have as many worries as like women do, or as many fears instilled in him as women do, it was just kind of shocking to see how easy it was. And I was like, that didn't cost him anything, you know, like why aren't I doing that? So that's a really big focus that I want to do in 2021. I'm not sure how easy it will be because I'm not really leaving my house much at the moment, but just something to concentrate on for the new year. My next one, I guess, is a little less deep, and it's to drink a litre of water a day. Now, I know you're supposed to drink way more than this, but I swear I am a camel. Guys, I do not drink anything. I can go days without drinking. Don't get me wrong. I need my coffee. I need my tea. Maybe a hot chocolate thrown in there. But cups of water is a no-no. Like, ever since I was a kid, I would only ever drink squash, I feel like. And then I think it turned into fizzy drinks for quite a long time. And I kind of dipped in and out with water. I tried to do like personal training at the start of last year, 2020. And was trying to drink like 3 litres of water a day, and it just did not go down well. So this time I'm trying to make it a little bit more manageable. Drink 1 litre of water a day, which I've actually started by buying myself a really cute bottle from TK Maxx. It's a Hydroflow. It's blue and baby pink. It makes me feel good. It's got this fun button that you press and the top flips out. You know, it's a whole experience. But that's a 500 milliliter bottle. So even if I fill it up twice during the day, I've hit my goal, which makes me feel very good. And just like carrying it with me everywhere because it's got a little handle, I think will just encourage me to drink on it more, sip on it more. And I did hear this thing, like if you drink through a straw too much, you get wrinkles around your lips, which I'm a little paranoid about. But also I feel like drinking the more water will help me reduce the wrinkles on my lips. Maybe. I don't know if that's flawed logic, but we're going to try and drink more water. Because I mean, not only will my skin improve, but it's like your sleep, your digestion, like your energy levels. It's so dumb that I don't already do it. So I'm really going to try and drink more water. I'm also going to read a book a month. I have done this before and I killed the game. I did it so well. I think it's because I went on a lot of holidays, and so I just had a lot of spare time to read books. But I feel like this year or last year has been not the year for books. I've had a TV in my room for the first time ever because I share this flat. If I had my own flat, I would not have a TV in my room, but I do. So I like to stick Netflix on. Like last night I was like, oh, I could read my book. I'm currently reading The Impact Code, which is like a self-help book about living the life you deserve, and I'm really enjoying it. It's very like anecdotal, but pretty good. Very good for starters getting into self-help, self-care books. But yeah, I was like, I could read that book, or I could watch the next episode of Dream Home Makeovers, I think it's called, because season 2 has just come out. And I binged 4 episodes last night. I was up till midnight. I did end up picking up a book. It wasn't The Impact Code. It was a book about globalization. And it was a bit intense. My head couldn't quite get around it at like 12:30 at night. But if that TV hadn't have been in my room, I could have read for those 4 hours that I watched Dream Home Makeovers, you know? So it's just something to consider. But I'm really going to try and read a book a month. I just feel like I'm more rounded as a person when I read. Like, yeah, it's fun to watch programs that your friends are watching and you can talk about those, but I also feel like I just gain so much more from a book. I still get the same escapism because I can like put myself in somebody else's world or in somebody else's shoes for a little bit. I learn so much more vocabulary. I pick up new sayings, new words, new terminology that I wouldn't have otherwise known, and I think it's really fun to be able to discuss books with friends. Like, even if you're involved in like a online book club, I think that's so cool. Like, I would love to start a book club. I did have one kind of going, I guess a book exchange I had going with Christian's mum over lockdown, which was really fun. So just something I want to carry on doing. I buy all my books from the charity shop, so it's super cheap for me, like literally £1 a pop, 50p a pop. And you can find some real hidden gems in there. Some of them are pretty dated, like this globalization book I was talking about, I think is from like 2009 or something, 2007, so it is a bit outdated, but again, just something that I wouldn't have picked up for £12 in a bookshop, but something I'd quite happily buy for £1 from a charity shop. So if you're considering shopping around for books, have a look in the charity shop. You never know what you might find. I do have an ongoing list of books I want to read on my notes, but they're all very expensive, and whilst I appreciate obviously paying the author for the work they've done, if I can find it secondhand and I don't have to buy something new, I will. And I also love seeing people's annotations in their books. I'm so nosy. I love to see like underlined bits with annotations and reading those annotations and being like, oh, what does that mean? Or what was going through that person's head when they read it? I think it's really interesting. So I would definitely recommend secondhand books. But that's the next goal of mine. Again, pretty tangible. I feel like I can definitely recognise if I have or haven't done that one. My next one, not so tangible, prioritise working out. I feel like at the start of every new year, oh, my camera just died if you heard that. I feel like at the start of every new year, people like to make fitness and workout goals, which I completely get. I'm completely behind it. Like, any intention or effort to move your body and make yourself feel good, like, why wouldn't you get behind that? I know people complain like the gyms are full, blah blah blah, but the gym should always be full, you know. Like, people should always be wanting to make that effort and move their body, and I feel like it's just a lot easier to jumpstart that in the new year. So I'm kind of doing the same. Obviously, gyms I don't think are open right now, so I am going to be doing a lot of home workouts. But I've already started this prioritizing working out. It has already been a focus for me, and it's going really well. I've been working out every other day, like without effort, which I haven't done in a really long time. Like, I don't think ever, unless when I was with my, oh my gosh, what would you call them? Like, personal coach, personal trainer, that's what they're called. Hello. When I was with my personal trainer at the start of 2020, I worked out 3 times a week. But even now, I think I'm working out more than that. But it is because it's been a mental shift rather than ticking off that I've worked out 3 times a week. I'm now prioritizing working out, which is how I've worded it, to signify or to like emphasize the shift in my mentality. Because I think before, we're going on a tangent here, but I think before, I mean, one of many tangents, I always felt like working out was going to make me skinnier and make me weigh less and make my stomach flatter and make my legs firmer, which sure, I'm sure that will be maybe a side effect of working out, but it's not the way I'm thinking about it now. Like, no one's gonna like me more if my stomach's an inch smaller or my waist is an inch smaller. No one's gonna remember me for having firm legs, you know? Like, why did I not understand that until 23 years of age? People are gonna remember me for loving my body, for being confident, for being fun and energetic, for being goofy and vulnerable. And I feel like those are also side effects of me looking after myself, moving my body and working out, which sounds a bit pretentious, I know, but was also just a huge wake-up call for me, because I don't want to be at a dinner party and not be enjoying myself because I feel a little bit frumpy in my dress or something. I want to be at a dinner party and think, you know what, I worked out this morning, I'm feeling energized, I'm feeling goofy, and I have energy to talk to people and be fun and silly. So that's kind of my mentality behind it now, and I do honestly just feel better for it, because I think it makes me feel like I've achieved something in the day. Like, even if I do a 10-minute butt workout or a 20-minute ab workout, whatever it is, like literally lying down in my lounge with my AirPods in, I feel like for that day I have achieved something. I've achieved a mini goal, and for me achievement is like a big thing. I think it's because I've been in education for so very long. Getting good marks, getting a pass grade or whatever has always been a big deal to me, so getting that little achievement for the day, getting my workout in, means a lot, and it's just so easy to do and makes me feel so much better. So prioritising working out is my next goal. My next goal is a fun one. It's to try a new recipe every week. Now, I'm hoping that Thursdays are going to be my new recipe day. I've pinned a load of recipes on Pinterest. They look really good. I'm really excited to try them. But up until this point, cooking has not been my forte, my friend. It's kind of been my nemesis, to be honest. I'm just not good at it. I think I stray from the recipe quite a lot, which could be my downfall. I tend to swap like cream cheese out for yogurt and then wonder why it went badly. It's pretty obvious why it went badly. But we're really going to try to stick to the recipe, cook new things, maybe try different styles of food, try different ingredients that I've never tried before. Like, I want to be that person that tries something and goes, oh, it needs more XYZ. Like, oh, it needs more paprika, or it needs some lemon, or it needs a bit more salt. Like, I'm not that person, because I feel like my palate is so basic. All I ate throughout my uni years was baked beans, porridge, and jacket potatoes, and I feel like since then, like, I've been graduated for nearly a year now, I have money to spend on food, and I'm still finding myself eating baked beans for dinner, sometimes cold out of the tin. Guys, was that too much information? Probably, but it happens. That's me, and I don't want that to be 2021 me. I want to be eating yummy paella and tacos and just good food. So I'm excited to try some new recipes. I really want to make cooking on a Thursday like some me time. I want to stick on a podcast. I want to have the kitchen to myself. I want to try out all these new ingredients and fun recipes, and then put something down on the table for either my boyfriend, me, or my flatmates to enjoy, and just make it a real like community thing, and just have some fun with it. And hopefully I can build on my repertoire, add these recipes into my little cookbook that I've been semi-creating, I guess, but also just it will mean that when I have friends over for dinner, or when I invite my family over for dinner, eventually, at some point in the future, I'll be a little bit more prepared and a little bit confident in my cooking skill set. Fingers crossed, anyway, that's the plan. Moving on to, we have one last goal, which again, is a pretty easy one, I feel like, but it's one I actually got from Kristen Johns over on YouTube, but it's to do 5 minutes of dedicated tidying up a day. I think she does 15 minutes a day, but I don't feel like I'd like, my apartment's a lot smaller than her house. Like, I don't know, I'd probably clean my whole apartment in 15 minutes. So I'm doing 5 minutes a day, which I feel like is a little bit more achievable for me and just not as big of an effort. Maybe I'll get to 15 minutes eventually, but we're going to start with 5, and I'm going to be doing it before bed. So when I get into bed or putting on my PJs or whatever, I'm just going to set a timer on my phone for 5 minutes and run around my bedroom, run around the kitchen, run around my lounge, whatever it is, and just pick things up for those 5 minutes. If I clean the whole room, great, don't have to worry about it tomorrow. If I don't, but I've still made the effort to pick up some things for 5 minutes, because right now I do it all on the weekends and it's just getting a bit much. It really like bogs me down that my Saturday afternoon or my Sunday afternoon is going to be spent picking up bits of rubbish that I've left throughout the week. And in a week, your house can get real messy, let me tell you. So I'm hoping the daily effort will make the weekend effort a lot less, and it will just be nice to come home on a weekday to a nice clean house. So that is my last goal for 2021. I don't know how many that was, but I feel like they're pretty simple, and easy to achieve. Fingers crossed I stay with it and stay motivated, but right now they all sound pretty good to me. I've then just got 4 shifts in my mentality, like I told you about, 4 things that I want to concentrate on in 2021 that I thought we'd run through. The first one being to take more leaps of faith. I feel like recently there have been a lot of opportunities and chances that have presented themselves to me, and I'm fine to let those kind of pass me by for someone else to grab them and for me to just stay at home in my comfy, cozy bubble. But again, I don't learn anything from that. There's no failures to learn from, there's no successes to learn from or to reap the rewards from. Like, I don't gain anything. So I'm hoping to take more leaps of faith and just have a bit more trust in myself and the universe. I think I'm already doing it. I mean, I've started a podcast, that means something, right? That's a leap of faith in itself. But I want to do more of that on like a grand scale and a small scale, and just see how it goes and not be intimidated, or I guess as scared as I have been in the past. And I just think it will really round me out as a person and make me more fun to be around. And imagine all the stories I can tell if I take all these opportunities and risks and take more leaps of faith. Like, looking back on my life, I won't have any regrets or anything that I felt like I've missed out on, because I would have done it all. So that's kind of going to be in the front of my mind for this year, just to have a little bit more faith in myself and the universe and see where it takes me. The next one I feel like goes along the same lines as that, but it's to seek out adventure. Like I said, I'm a bit of a scaredy cat. I like my cozy bubble. I like to stay in my house under my duvet, but there's no fun in that. Like, where's the adventure in that? Like, I know it's very predictable. I know what's going to happen at the end of that 4 hours of binging Netflix. Like, I'm going to feel a bit gross. I'll feel lethargic. I'll feel bored, and I'll take it out on my boyfriend probably. And it's just not a fun time for anyone. Whereas Christian's very good, like, at saying things like, oh, do you want to pop to the shop, or should we go to the park, or do you want to come to this skate park with me, things like that. And I'm quite quick to say like, oh no, I think I'm just going to chill here. And he's fine with that, you know, he's quite happy to go by himself. But if we went together, I know we would both have a better time, because we'd be doing something together, spending quality time together, which is one of my love languages. And just making it an adventure. Like, the things we do together are always so much fun. They're always super silly, and who knows what that's going to turn into. And I feel like the most mundane things, like going to the shop or the corner shop or whatever, you could go a different route. You could knock on someone's door and wave at them as you go by. You could, I don't know, try something new, buy something new, talk about something silly on your way there. Who knows what you might find on your way there. Not gonna lie, it's probably too information again. But I once went on a walk and found the organs of a mouse. So that was kind of interesting. Super random, sorry guys. Sorry if you're a bit squeamish, but it really happened. And that was a whole adventure in itself. So I just want to seek out adventure in like the everyday mundane things, and just take people up on their offers to have a little adventure. Maybe it's going to a different country, maybe it's popping to the corner shop, who knows, but I want to be there for it. So that's another priority of mine this year. Then the next one, I feel like, again, we're getting deep, but it's to surround myself with things and people I love. I have already started this process. I did a huge, like very extreme clear out on the 31st, like literally New Year's Eve, I think I did it, just so that I could start 2021 with no rubbish or trinkets or things I didn't want or need or care about cluttering up my life, my bedroom, my flat. You know, I just wanted everything to have a purpose, everything to mean something to me, and everything to have its place. And that's what I managed to achieve. So super happy with that. But I really want to carry that on through 2021. Like, I don't want to be taking any baggage with me. I don't want to be buying things I don't really want. I want everything I own in my house and in my life to add to the person I eventually want to be, like this fun, loving, caring, kind person, like who's creative and everything, my 4 pillars. If I buy something, or if I'm considering buying something and they don't add to that, I'm not going to buy it. Like, why am I trying to detract from the person I want to be? Like, I so don't know why that's my mindset, but I'm just trying to minimize my material possessions, especially because there may or may not be a big move coming at some point this year or next year, and it's really made me evaluate how much I hold on to and what things I would really need. Like, if I was going to move country tomorrow, what would I take with me, and how much stuff would I need to throw out or leave behind or just not want to take with me in my next phase of life? Like, that's a really interesting mindset to have when you're clearing something out. Would definitely recommend that along with your Marie Kondo Does It Bring Me Joy? But yeah, if I was moving country tomorrow, would I take it with me? That's a big question. So yeah, and then in terms of the people, I just really want to surround myself with people this year who make me feel like the person I want to be, like who raise me up, who make me feel encouraged and loved, and don't detract from who I'm trying to be or what I'm trying to focus on this year. That all sounds a little bit cutthroat. I'm not saying you have to go and like cut out all of your toxic friendships or whatever, but I think just be more mindful of who you're surrounding yourself with and how they make you feel, how they speak to you, what words they use around you, and when you leave, do you feel better than when you got there? I think that's a really big thing. Like my friend Brooke, who I'm hoping, maybe, I haven't asked her, but maybe she'll be a guest on the podcast eventually. Every time I hang out with her, she's like a freaking ray of sunshine. Like, I just feel warmer as a person after I've hung out with her, which I think is huge. Like, well done her. Like, to be able to have that effect on people is massive. Like, God knows how she does it. But also, I know that friendship is only bringing me good things. Whereas if I had left a conversation with her, a FaceTime with her, a meet up with her, feeling a bit crap and a bit like I wasn't good enough, or I should have done this differently, or I feel judged for this or whatever, maybe I should reevaluate that. Like, that's not how I want to feel after hanging out with my friends. I want to feel loved and encouraged and just like I'm living on cloud nine. So yeah, that's something I'm going to consider, making new friendships, which I do want to do this year, but also reevaluating how my current friendships and current people in my life are working or making me feel is something that I want to prioritize this year, just so that again I can focus on making myself that person I want to be and having everyone around me add to those 4 pillars as well as myself. So I think we've come full circle. It's a pretty quick one, 30 minutes I think we're at, somewhere around there, which I'm actually pretty happy about. I wasn't sure how long I was going to be able to talk for by myself. I've definitely spoken pretty quick, which I know because I've been stumbling over my words, but hopefully you don't mind. Hopefully you can have a little bit of grace for me, a little bit of sympathy, knowing that this is my first podcast episode ever. So it's only up from here, guys. Like, if you enjoyed this one, stick around for the next one because I think I'm uploading it on the same day as this, so you can go binge that now if you really want. I would also be really interested to know whether you guys have any 2021 goals this year, or resolutions or aims, or whether you've structured it completely differently as well after last year, or whether, you know what, this year you're taking a backseat and you're going with the flow. Go head over to our Instagram at To Be Candid podcast and let me know what your thoughts are this year. I'll put up a post, you can go ahead and comment on that, or go ahead and send me a DM, get involved over there, because that's going to be like the little hub for this podcast. You can see sneak peeks behind the scenes and maybe even be involved in future episodes, because I do want to do a few like story times and where people send things in and I react to them and things. I just think that would be really fun and interactive with you guys. So go ahead over there and let me know what your 2021 goals are, because I'd love to know. Maybe I can add some to mine. But yeah, I just want to thank you again so much for being here. I'm so excited for this podcast and what it may or may not turn into, and all the future episodes that I have planned. Guys, there are some really great ones coming up, and I've already written down like a list of guests I want to have on the podcast. So I hope you're as excited as I am. I think it's going to be a really fun journey and new venture for 2021. And again, add to my slightly creative and fun pillars for the year. Let me know if you have any pillars, or whether you'd consider making some pillars after hearing this podcast. I just think it's a really helpful way and something really quick and easy to remember as you go about your New Year life, as you carry on for 2021. So I hope you all had a really good New Year's. I hope you're having a great start to the year. I will see you guys next Tuesday with a brand new episode, so see you soon. Bye.